Let's talk about 5 reasons why the scale might not be moving. My name is Courtney Gray. I'm a body and life coach. I help women lose weight permanently without dieting, but by eating better forever at any age. I help them create new habits. I help them really learn the mindset to becoming a woman that is in control of her eating. So let's dive into these 5 because after working with so many of my clients, these are 5 more mindset-based reasons that sometimes the scale might not be moving. And once you fix these, the scale will start moving again. So let's dive in. Number 1, you're not being really radically honest with what you're putting in your mouth. Studies show us that most human beings overestimate in a good way how good they're doing. They say they're eating better than they're really doing. They say they're moving their body more than they really are. They say they live a healthier lifestyle, more than they really are. They say they drink less than they really do. Are you being radically honest with every single thing that you put in your mouth? Now, some people might say, but every single thing, does it really matter? Yes, it really does matter. It doesn't mean we need to get so hyper-focused, but while you're on the journey to figure out how to eat better in a sustainable way, you need to understand that every single thing that you put in your mouth matters. The best thing to do for this is to track your food. You can either use MyFitnessPal, you can use, my favorite is called Macros First. It's not sponsored, it's just one that I really love. And everything that goes into your mouth can be put into the tracker so you can be radically honest with what you're eating. So when we think of radical honesty, I think of classic examples with a lot of my clients are when you put cream in your coffee. Do you know how much cream are you really putting? Or are you just assuming this is 1 tablespoon? It's probably 2. If you're putting honey in your tea, is it 1 teaspoon? Or is it possibly 2 teaspoons? It really does matter. So let's get radically honest. And I also just say, side note, let's get radically honest about everything in your life. Let's get you really, really clear so we can get you living the life and living in the body that you want to be living in. Number 2, reasons why the scale isn't moving. You're under eating during the day and overeating at night. This is classic. I see it so often. Oftentimes during the day, we're pretty busy. Whether we're retired or we've got little kids, it doesn't matter. The day is busy. It is occupied, especially as women. We are doing a lot of things for a lot of people. So it's easy to not be distracted, not feel like we have to eat, and to sometimes ignore our hunger. But then at night, our body is like, enough is enough. We need sustenance, and we eat. And oftentimes, because we didn't eat very much during the day, we overeat at night. It is the perfect rationalization for your primitive brain to tell you, you hardly ate anything today, eat whatever you want tonight. Go back for a second plate of pasta because you hardly ate anything today. This is something I see in the younger generations, and it really worries me for these young girls. They will go all day without hardly eating anything but drinking these really sugary caffeinated drinks. And then at night they dive into the fries and the burgers and all that, and they're just getting more calories and more unhealthy food than their body needs. And that's why I see the younger generation is having a problem with their weight. Number 3, you're not making a plan. When you don't plan what you're going to eat, what you're saying is, primitive brain, you get to decide what we're eating. And your primitive brain is always going to decide on the most delicious, fastest, easiest food that you can find in the moment. Now, if you're one of my clients and you've been working with me for a long time, maybe you're not always planning. Maybe you're getting really good at deciding in the moment what is the best option for you that aligns with your goals. But if you're new to using mindset in a way that's going to help you get into the best health ever, I would suggest creating a plan. I like to call it a protocol. In my program, I ship women a workbook, and it has a space for them to create a protocol every single day so they can decide what they're going to eat on purpose in advance. And let me tell you why this is important. There's another video that talks about the brain and weight loss, and it goes into all of this. But basically, when you decide in advance what you're going to eat, you're using the part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, that helps you in decision making. The part of your brain that wants you to go to your next level, the part of your brain that wants you to lose the weight you want to lose and get healthy and get off those medicines and all those things. It's called the prefrontal cortex. And you can see it at play. Have you ever said to yourself, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to start going to the gym. You know what, tomorrow I'm going to drink just a little bit less. Or tomorrow I'm going to cut out all of this pizza or whatever it is. When you're saying that, you're using your prefrontal cortex. It's a beautiful thing. But then the reason in the moment that no longer works for you is because you are letting your primitive brain come in and really dictate what you're going to be eating, what you're going to be doing. So when you really set out, create a plan, and I suggest writing it down, don't just say, tomorrow I'm going to eat better. Actually say, this is what I'm going to be eating. This is what I'm eating for breakfast. This is what I'm eating for lunch. This is what I'm eating for dinner. Then what happens is you go into that meal and you know that your prefrontal cortex made that plan for you. You know that's what you truly want. Because I like to think about our prefrontal cortex as the real me, the real you. And then if all of a sudden you're like, what does this even matter? Or, you know what, you've eaten good all day, you deserve a treat. Or, you know what, you're 5 pounds down, you deserve a treat, you deserve a break. That you can recognize that as your primitive brain, the part of your brain that only wants you to be happy in the moment. Your primitive brain doesn't care about the scale going down. Your primitive brain doesn't want you to feel good in your jeans. Your primitive brain doesn't want you to feel sexy when you're naked. Your primitive brain steps in and says, all I want for you is happiness right now. And when you plan ahead, you can have the opportunity to go, oh my gosh, I plan to eat this and now I've changed my mind. That's my primitive brain. That's not what I truly want. That is just trying to make me happy in the moment. So plan ahead. Number 4, you're avoiding negative emotions and emotionally eating. Now, there's one misconception with emotionally eating, and I used to fall into this trap as well. When I would hear of emotional eating, I would think of someone extremely stressed, either that scenario or someone who is grieving and just crying like into a box of ice cream. But emotional eating is so much more complicated than this. When we think about our primitive brain, it does not want us to be in any kind of pain. Our primitive survival-based brain doesn't even want us to feel doubt or confusion or guilt, anything like that. So any kind of negative emotion, our primitive brain wants to swoop in and go get a snack, stop this, let's get away from this negative emotion. And in 2026 and for many, many years, the fastest way for us to distract ourselves and get out of that negative emotion is food. I can't tell you how many times I sat down at my desk over the years to make a video for you and got my mic out and everything. And my primitive brain says, you don't know what to say today. You don't know what they're going to want to hear. Why don't you just go get some chips and salsa? It still says that to me. My primitive brain never wants me to continue living in a body that feels good, continue feeling good in my body. My primitive brain just wants me to be happy in the moment. So yes, emotional eating is us feeling stressed and wanting to get out of that stress, but it also can be a little sneaky. So I've had many clients, what they're doing is they're not trying to get out, they're not trying to escape negative emotion, they're trying to avoid negative emotion. And this looks a little different and this is a little trickier. So if you're the type of person that's very happy, not stressed, maybe you're retired, you're like, life is good, I don't have a lot of stressors. I'm not emotionally eating because I'm happy, what's going on? Oftentimes, this is how emotional eating presents when you're trying to avoid negative emotion. Your baseline is happy, and then let's say you go on a vacation with all your girlfriends. And let's say you promised yourself, you know what? I'm only gonna have a drink at night. I'm not gonna day drink, and I'm only gonna have a drink at night. But then all of a sudden, you're on this fun vacation with all your fun girlfriends, and everyone's day drinking, and here's where the emotional eating comes in. You have a thought given to you by your primitive brain, and the thought is, it's not gonna be as fun if you don't drink during the day. So what it is at that point, if you say, yes, I will have a margarita, you are avoiding feeling the sadness of not having the drink. You're feeling maybe like you're not fitting in. You're feeling insecure. Maybe you're feeling guilty because they're like, why aren't you drinking? All these emotions come up if you stick to your plan. So by getting the drink, you are not feeling any guilt, you're not feeling any sadness, you're not feeling insecure, you are solving the problem. You are emotionally eating. So emotionally eating isn't just eating when you're sad, eating when you're stressed. It's not just, I had a long day, I need a cocktail. It's also, this dinner doesn't sound as fun if I'm not eating what everyone else is eating. So are you avoiding negative emotions? And if you are, if you really resonated with this one, then I would suggest looking over all my other videos on my YouTube channel, because I talk about this in many different ways, many iterations, and also reach out to me for a free consult and I can help you specifically with this. Okay, number 5, if you are losing weight in a way that I suggest, where you are understanding your emotions, understanding the mindset behind it, not being too diety, but really trying to eat better and have it be sustainable, and you've hit a plateau and the scale is not moving, you might just need more time for the scale to go down. I've seen this with many of my clients, to where they'll go 1 or 2 weeks and they'll say, I swear, Courtney, I'm doing such a good job. I'm eating the same things. I know what's going on. Just give yourself more time. And I know this can be hard, because I know you step on the scale and you're like, I feel like I'm doing all the things. Give yourself more time. What I have seen for a lot of women is sometimes they need more time to acclimate to a new weight after you've hit a plateau. And what I've seen with many of these women is that they'll hold at a weight, hold at a weight, hold at a weight, and then all of a sudden jump down a few pounds. So in the meantime, if you're feeling like you're doing the work, you're being radically honest, you're doing all the things I suggested here, then I would ask yourself, am I seeing any other changes? How am I feeling in my body? How am I feeling in my mindset? How is my sleep? How is my energy? Sometimes we can get really fixated on a 3-digit number on a scale, and we're kind of missing the point. And so in that moment, keep doing what you're doing if you feel like you really are doing the right things, but really tap into, how am I feeling in my body? Are my clothes feeling looser? I've had many clients that have said, I'm going on 3 weeks and the scale hasn't moved. And I'll say, how are your clothes fitting? My clothes are feeling really loose. I actually had to buy new bras. Okay, so let's just be grateful. Let's just be positive. Let's think about how far we've come, and let's just keep doing what we're doing. And if you need help with any of this is the work I do with my clients. I would love to offer you a free consultation. I work with women privately and in small groups, and the work we do really is not dieting. It's learning how to eat better forever, learning how to create new habits that are sustainable and work within your life, and really get you excited about the way you feel in your body at any age. I work with women from 40 to 80. At every moment of your life, this work is really powerful work to do.